Milk, we can't guarantee. Cheese is bad, don't disagree. Butter, ew, like high key. Forced to be dairy free.
Howdy folks, welcome back to Forced to Be Dairy Free. Today, we will be making oyster mushrooms.
Yes, we will. A real treat. A lot of people know about the morella mushrooms. A lot of people like to enjoy hunting for them. Oyster mushrooms, I will say, would you agree, are just as good, if not better.
Than the morella mushrooms.
What do you think?
Yes.
I think they are, personally. And like I said, morella mushrooms, a lot of times people go hunting for them. The oyster mushrooms, they kind of hunt for you. It's not something where you really just go out and look for necessarily. You just randomly find them. In this case, I was up in my deer stand, and I looked over and I thought I saw some antlers in the woods, and I looked over into the sun reflecting off these mushrooms. So luckily, they were close by. They were about 15 foot up in the tree, and I had to get my ladder, take it down from my tree stand, move it over to the tree, and go up and reach these oyster mushrooms.
Oh, great venture.
What do you think? And that's how it is. I'll find them any time of year between September until March. I'll find them just randomly. The key is you just have to be outside enjoying the outdoors.
Yes.
Right? You can be out going out on a hike.
Yeah.
I've seen them before operating a tractor.
Yeah.
See it, right? Going hiking, fishing,
Yeah.
hunting,
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll show you just a little, if you haven't seen an oyster mushroom before, I think they get oyster because they're kind of the shape of an oyster a little bit. But there's some key things to see. One is if you see white mushrooms on a tree, like a shelf of them, if it's something that's woody, that's not an oyster mushroom. An oyster mushroom is very fleshy, and especially if you find one early. If you get one a little dried out, it might be a little stiffer, but you can put it in water and it will become. What were you gonna do? What were you doing?
Showing them the little.
Yeah, go up and show them quick that, Cameron, so you can see the veins on the back and see how it's fleshy. Can you kind of move that, Cameron? See how that's fleshy right there?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So those are an indicator of oyster mushrooms, and there's lots and lots of edible mushrooms out there, and these are truly very edible. Again, if you find them on the tree and they look like this, you're going to be good to go. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to try to keep these big ones whole if I can, and take off any of the big chunks. You can see there's a little wood from the tree still in there. You don't want to bite into that.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, it would be crazy. And I'm going to put these in some water. And Cameron, why don't you sprinkle some salt in my water?
Oh yes. Of
And that
course.
part, see, that's still really soft. If you had the wrong kind of mushroom, it would be like wood.
How much do you want?
Just give it a good amount. There you go. Okay, keep going. Just want to get some salt water, and we're going to let these soak for 30 minutes. Just let them get them cleaned out. And if there are any insects, which that's one thing with the oyster mushroom, it seems like a lot of times you don't have the insects in there that you do sometimes with some of the mushrooms that are on the ground. That's good. And a lot of times you won't see these real little ones in oysters, and I think I already ate a little bit of these last night. I didn't want to. Yeah, and those little oyster mushrooms are fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
They are. We could probably sell these for millions.
And guys, just hit up our shop. Only 150 a mushroom.
150 a mushroom.
Yeah.
All right, so I think these are all kind of little pieces.
Oh, yeah.
But we're just gonna put this in the salt water and let this sit for 30 minutes, and then we'll get to the next step.
Alrighty guys, the oysters have been in the water for about 30 minutes.
Oyster mushrooms.
Oh my gosh, oyster mushrooms.
Well, I don't want to confuse.
Of course.
Okay, all right. Yes, they were in the salt water for about 30 minutes, and while they're in there, I kept picking at them, making sure there wasn't any dirt or tree bark left on there. So our next step, very important step here, we're gonna get some paper towels down and lay out our oyster mushrooms, and we want to make sure and get these patted dry and get some of the moisture out of them.
These are so
Or
delicious.
most of them. You didn't act all that excited about earlier, and then when I told you they were fried, you got all excited. So do you like them because they're mushrooms, or do you like them because it's something fried?
I love fried. fried oyster mushrooms.
Okay.
The crisp that they give off is amazing.
All right. So I think either are kind of a little pieces.
And I, yeah, it would be crazy.
Yes, they're crispy yet tender
And I like
at the same
mushrooms
time.
in
Their
general.
art is so tender and flavorful. These are just really good.
Oh, yes.
They don't make you all goofy after you eat them either. I guess, depending on who you are, that could be a downside.
I'll just
You're
stop
probably
it.
too young for that, aren't you? Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what to say.
All right, so we got those paper towels, and I'm just gonna pat this side down, pat this dry. I'm gonna let this sit with the air for about another 5 minutes. Okay, so I've got quite a bit of the moisture out of the mushrooms. Now I'm gonna put it in the freezer for 5 minutes.
Alrighty, guys.
Why do we do that, Cameron?
Because we'll be soggy.
Because if you get it really cold, we've told you this trick in the okra.
And okra.
Get it really cold, it helps the flour adhere.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Right.
Yes, that's what
To
I
the
did
food.
wrong when I made okra.
All right. Okay.
Freezing is
So we're gonna put it in the freezer for 5 minutes.
Alrighty, guys, we put the oyster mushrooms in the freezer. Those will be in there for 5 minutes. And over here we have our oil on medium high.
Now I went ahead. I used all the oil, 48 ounces, just for me because I like to dispose of it in the container I bought it in. And also we want to make sure to have enough oil to where the mushrooms will be fully immersed.
Oh! Alrighty, guys, our oyster mushrooms just got out of the freezer, and now we're going to season it and put the flour on.
Yep, I'll let you do the rice with pepper.
Alright.
We don't need to over season. The mushrooms are good just on their own, but I like to add some Creole seasoning here. And I'll also do this at the end. Keep going, Cameron. I can go over top of you.
Okay.
Huh? Again, I'm just doing a little bit.
This is not working.
It's not working. Well, speed. Okay, yeah. There you go. Feel the grip. There you go. Creole seasoning. Gotcha.
It's okay. Okay, I think that's good.
Okay, that's good. You're gonna be okay?
Yeah.
So I don't make a huge mess, I'm gonna put my mushrooms in a bowl.
Oh, so nice, so nice.
And then I'm gonna get about a cup of flour. Ended up being a little less than a cup of flour. And I just wanna get each of the mushrooms covered here.
If you got into this part, do the thumb and the wink, and then do the yellow thumbs up.
Whee! I'm making a mess, Cameron.
I'm mercy. It's okay.
I put it in a bowl because I said I wasn't gonna make a mess.
But yeah.
Oh well, I'm gonna clean the kitchen anyway. Who
Yeah,
cares?
it's okay. I will clean it. Tomorrow's my dishes day, so
Oh,
leave a
sweet.
mess.
Okay. Whee!
Yeah, just leave a mess.
All right. So you can see, have the mushrooms
That'll be mine.
covered with the flour, and then I'm going to put each of these in. Well, I don't want to overfill into my hot oil. Probably be 2 batches here. And before I do that, when I put each one in, I'm going to shake it off to get off the excess flour. All right, my oil's hot. I'm going to place these in one at a time. Again, give them a shake to get any of the excess. It doesn't matter if you put it in flush side or down or not. And here in a little bit, we'll do an aerial view. Okay, that's sizzling really hot, so I'm going to turn it down to a tad. I don't like that. I want to cook these 5 to 7 minutes or until golden brown. It's not really something you can mess up. Just sometimes you do them and you do them better than other times. Really, my dad's the master of doing this. That's why I had some yesterday, because he made them and he does it even better than I do. Or he, not even better. That sounded real.
Oh my gosh, that was so cocky.
It was cocky. Oh my god.
Can I just say, I can't do them any better than him.
Right. Okay. So we're going to let that cook 5 to 7 minutes on the golden brown. All right, it's been 7 minutes. You can see that they're nice and golden brown. And I'll take one out just to make sure, give it a little, I can tell that it's crispy just by touching it there. I'm gonna put them on this grate, let the oil drip off of them. Look at that. Ooh, mama. Kind of spread them out here. And then for our final touches, you know we're gonna want a little bit more Creole seasoning and some pepper here. So let's get a little bit of that. Okay, maybe too much. And some pepper. And this, trust me, is a treat.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we post a video. Bye, guys!
Oh, I was gonna say something this time.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say get outdoors. Get outdoors, get some exercise, and then you'll find some mushrooms.
Yay! Bye.